This channel has been known to trigger leftists and trolls alike. Proceed with extreme caution. You have been warned.
Police say the 18-year-old victim lives in a campus apartment on University Meadows. They say he woke up and found a stranger by the name of Devonta Bagley inside his apartment.
Businesses have an obligation to do what is reasonably appropriate to protect their customers from crime.
And in October 2015, the alleged victim says McGee forced him to take Xanax, and he awoke to McGee sodomizing him.
She says the two men she didn't know forced themselves on her, and what's worse, she says Smith recorded the rape on his cell phone and posted the video on Facebook.
A college student abducted and raped is now speaking publicly about the terrifying hours she spent with her
Just
captor.
because they consent to sex once doesn't mean they consent to everything.
It just made me really just think, like, what can happen anywhere? It really can happen anywhere.
Always be on the alert, even if it's just a trip to the grocery store.
It's a public community, and we're paying to come here. We should be safe.
The images and just the memories, it's just, you can never shake them.
It's a public community, and we're paying to come here. We should be safe. We should be safe. We should be safe. We should be safe.
Damn!
Now YouTube censored. Now YouTube censored.
I'm mad as hell right now. Yes, I am.
Viewer discretion is advised. Mama Black.
This program contains language and sequences some viewers may find disturbing.
Lexi Opelt is describing her transformation from rape victim to rape survivor.
Oh, I feel like a whole bunch of weight went off my shoulders.
When we first met Lexi in October, she spent most of her time locked away in her bedroom, drawing self-portraits full of tears and desperation.
I started judging myself, like, am I really what they say I am? And I started to forget who I was.
She says she decided to share her story of a violent rape that occurred when she was 13 years old, involving 2 football players in her high school bathroom.
To tell other girls who may have gone through the same thing what?
To not be scared.
But Lexi was scared when she faced our camera and bared her soul.
Police say the 18-year-old victim lives in a campus apartment on University Meadows. They say he woke up and found a stranger by the name of Devonta Bagley inside his apartment. They say the victim told Bagley to leave, but say the suspect held a gun on the victim and then sexually assaulted him. Bagley is now in custody, charged with sodomy, armed criminal action, and burglary.
It just made me really just think, like, what can happen anywhere? It really can happen anywhere.
Students living in similar campus apartments say there are gates designed to keep strangers out.
So, I mean, around there, trying to get in the building is hard if you don't go to the school, so I generally feel pretty good around there, and that's where I'm usually at most of the times.
Police in Riley County, Kansas, shared this report of charges from when Bagley was arrested in September. He was charged with sodomy and burglary then. His bail set at $100,000, and he has a pending court date. Bagley is listed as having enrolled in a master's program at UMSL. After the attack was reported, UMSL sent out this alert, giving students safety reminders.
You know, they've been sending out safety tips and making police more available. I've seen the campus police a lot more frequently, just, you know, kind of hanging out and keeping an eye on things. So I think they're doing all right.
Some students say there have been other recent attacks, but say overall they feel the campus is safe.
I feel pretty safe, honestly. It's a public community, and we're paying to come here. We should be safe.
A 17-year-old girl told police she invited 19-year-old Martin Milan over to her house for sex early Wednesday morning, but he showed up with 19-year-old Rayford Smith and 18-year-old Anton Hester. She says the two men she didn't know forced themselves on her, and what's worse, she says Smith recorded the rape on his cell phone and posted the video on Facebook. After it was over, the victim told investigators she hid in her grandmother's bedroom.
Brave for anyone to go forward and have to go through this process.
Sandy Bromley, the director of the Rape Crisis Center, says unfortunately social media is now being used in all sorts of crimes, and says when something like this happens, the victim is victimized again.
It can be particularly disturbing for victims who are already traumatized by the crime, but then get feel that additional trauma by the idea that so many people are seeing it afterwards.
And Bromley says when it comes to sexual violence, she wants the victims to understand that just because they consent to sex once doesn't mean they consent to everything.
We just want to get that word out around consent, that it's not the victim's fault if something does happen against their will, and to let potential offenders know that this isn't acceptable.
Smith and Hester don't have criminal records in Shelby County, but Milan was arrested earlier this month for car theft and last month for attempted theft and evading arrest. In Memphis, Melissa Moon, WREG, News Channel 3.
He called himself a cheerleading coach, but one student and his mother says that he wasn't the man they thought he was.
We were totally under the impression that he was the assistant coach.
The CBS 11i team investigating the man facing some pretty serious charges. Good evening. Thank you for being with us tonight. I'm Doug Dunbar.
And I'm Gilma Avalos in for Kaylee while she's on leave. There were accusations of slapping, berating, grabbing, and rape from a male cheerleader against his assistant coach at a North Texas college.
Team investigator Ginger Allen's been digging into this alleged hazing and sexual allegations for months now. So what's going on?
Well, this is another person in a position of power accused of using it for control. The alleged victim here is a teenage male cheerleader, and the accused is a volunteer coach who has been indicted. I do want to warn you that some of what you are about to hear is sexually explicit and could be disturbing.
About an hour south of Dallas, not far from the quiet, oil-rich streets of Corsicana, is a loud, booming, self-acclaimed dynasty.
Navarro cheer was supposed to be one of the best of the best.
The Navarro College cheerleaders have won 12 national championships in the last 17 years. Just the kind of team this woman's son wanted to make since the 5th grade.
If you could make that team, then you had done well.
But now, the 20-year-old former cheerleader says what happened here drove him away from the sport, the school, and the state of Texas.
The images and just the memories, it's just, you can never shake them.
40-year-old Andre McGee called himself the #1 recruiter at Navarro College, best friends with and right-hand to the head cheer coach, Monica Aldama. In post after post, the I-team found McGee refers to himself as a tough big, proud of his littles.
This man stole his dreams.
This civil lawsuit paints a very different picture of McGee, accusing him of slapping and hitting male cheerleaders, requiring them to drop their pants at his command and pose for hundreds of nude pictures, forcing rookies to drink and consume drugs, which they called big girl games. And in October 2015, the alleged victim says McGee forced him to take Xanax, and he awoke to McGee sodomizing him.
I've had some pretty terrible nightmares that have haunted me even till this day.
Afraid McGee would not allow him to compete, the former cheerleader says he stayed quiet until March of 2016, when he packed up, left, and filed this police report. In it, the I-team learned he was not alone. Another cheerleader made similar claims.
Do you believe there are other victims in this case?
Yes.
Why?
We've spoken to other victims in the case, and we've heard from other cheerleaders and others in the community that there were other victims.
This cheerleader says he also reported everything to the head coach and school. That's when his mom says she was shocked to learn McGee was not even a Navarro College employee.
We were totally under the impression that he was the assistant coach.
Navarro College first told the I-team McGee had never been employed with the squad. After we asked about all of the photos and posts, a spokesperson sent us this email saying McGee was a volunteer who was notified he could no longer volunteer after the allegations. By March of 2017, Navarro County indicted Andre McGee on a sexual assault charge. But 8 months later, McGee still had not been arrested.
It's taking way too long.
He feels like he's less important because he's a boy.
That's when his mom reached out to the I-team. The district attorney's office told us it was waiting for McGee to get out of jail on another charge. But we learned there was no other charge, and McGee was not in jail. We found him here, substitute teaching at this Fairfield school. We told the DA, and 2 days later, McGee was arrested. The office told us it had bad information about McGee's whereabouts. In December, McGee walked into his first court hearing. Inside, he talked about coaching at Navarro College. His pastor said he worked with the choir and Sunday school. And his mother became emotional, saying he had been around kids his whole life and holds a BA in psychology and a master's in teaching.
Retaliation is the motivation here.
McGee's attorney tells us this is all retaliation.
This case was brought up in retribution against Mr. McGee because Mr. McGee did something that caused this one student to be dismissed from Navarro College. The student was actually expelled because he got caught with marijuana in his car.
The young man's family told us he was caught with marijuana on campus, but was not expelled. And they say it has nothing to do with the sexual assault claims.
Did he ever take them drinking?
I have no idea.
Did he ever do anything inappropriate as far as hazing?
I have no idea about that either.
But you adamantly say the sexual assault claims are a lie or retaliation.
No doubt if we take this case forward to trial, we'll receive a not guilty.
As the case finally moves forward, this family is questioning why it took the college, court, and county so long to act.
I definitely think that if I was a female, that it would be moving way faster.
So the indictment is against McGee. The civil suit is against McGee and the college, accusing it of ignoring reports of hazing and sexual assault. The college would not respond because of, obviously, pending litigation.
A sexual assault survivor is speaking out against her former school tonight. She claims they chose athletics over her safety. CBS 2's Andrea Fujii is at Cerritos College with this exclusive story.
My emotions are everywhere because it's all still fresh.
This former Cerritos College student doesn't want to be identified, but has come forward to call out the school for allowing a now convicted rapist on campus. On March 16th, Keyshawn Holmes was found guilty of raping the now 21-year-old. She was a sophomore at the time, a student athletic trainer, and he was a star on the Cerritos College football team. And this wasn't the first time. In 2014, he pled guilty to rape while he was a student at Vista Marietta High School.
It makes me sick knowing that he's done it before and that I had no idea that he was capable of that.
This woman has now filed a lawsuit against Holmes and Cerritos College, claiming they failed to safeguard or warn students about his violent past.
Put aside the safety of its students, the safety of the student athletic trainers in favor of the star athlete so that they could have a winning title.
A spokeswoman for Cerritos College says they haven't received a copy of the complaint and can't comment on specifics, but did say in part, Cerritos College takes the well-being of its students very seriously and has policies and procedures on student conduct and requires sexual violence and harassment prevention trainings. Too emotionally traumatized, this woman left school last year, but hopes to one day complete her degree to become an athletic trainer.
I feel betrayed. I feel that they should have protected me. They should be able to protect their students.
Holmes is in jail right now. He'll be sentenced May 2nd, and at the sentencing hearing, the victim plans to read her victim impact statement. He could face 18 years in prison. Reporting in Cerritos, I'm Andrea Fujii, CBS 2 News.
I couldn't really defend myself when the attack was happening.
For CBS 2 News investigation into the alleged rape of a teenager.
Moments after her story aired in November, she says the response was instant and overwhelming.
And even the people that had said like horrible things to me, they apologized for it.
Lexi says her phone exploded with calls and texts from boys.
But you're such a strong, positive girl. I look up to you and I hope
girls.
I'm here for you and I have your back if you need to talk.
And other victims.
I'm proud of you having the strength to stand up and say something. I never did. I still haven't. I always felt it was my fault.
One girl even wrote a poem about her.
I promise you are not alone. We stand by you like towers. We will guard till the end, even if they say it's over.
The boy who she said led the attack, Kenechukwu Ugwizi, pled guilty in December to the forcible rape of two 18-year-old victims in Santa Barbara. He was sentenced to 6 years in state prison, and he'll have to register as a sex offender for the rest of his life. He is also charged with 2 more rapes in Riverside County.
I'm really happy that it did turn out that way, and I hope any girl that does go through this, I hope they can tell their story, because I know it wasn't easy for me. It's not easy for anybody to hold something in like that, and I just want them to know that holding it in is just going to get you to harm yourself, and your life is way too more important. You have so much going on. Like, you can be successful and live your life.
Lexi is now on her school's honor roll, and her last report card had straight A's.
The last time we spoke, I said if you could make a wish, what would it be? And you said?
I don't know, to be happy again. To be happy again.
Are you happy again?
Yeah. I'm really happy.
So where does she go from here? Well, Lexi says she plans to go to college for a degree in kinesiology. She says she wants to be an athletic trainer, so if athletes get hurt, she can help them get back to doing what they do.
special thanks to RG Channel's contributor T. Martin.
And as always, thank you for watching. If you like this video, please consider subscribing. Also follow us on the usual media for more and interesting information like this.
Channel moderators are Jer Shax and Michael Thomas. Thanks for your diligence and dedication.
Fight their asses.